Hello, and welcome back to Dollars and Cents with Lindsey and Dennis. How are you today, Dennis?
Hey, I'm great. It's a little chilly out, but otherwise, I got my sweater on. I'm good.
Only in New England do we complain about the weather.
And
Every single
wear
day.
a sweater in June.
Today, we're going to be talking about the importance of paying yourself first and how important it is to save and some of the tips and tricks you can use to make sure that you're prioritizing yourself first.
Right. Last time we talked about the B word, budgets. With a budget, you should be able to allocate your funds enough where you can pay yourself first. In 1926, George Gleason wrote a book called The Richest Man in Babylon. And one of the things he said in there was, pay yourself first. Save 10% of your income. And I thought, you can't do that. I was probably in my 20s and I thought, that's impossible. As I got older, I realized, yes, I could have done that. With a little bit of budgeting, a little bit of forethought, and just a little bit of discipline, I could have paid myself first. And starting out early like that makes a huge difference.
Yeah, and I think it's important that the savings aspect of your plan really is for the unexpected. And we all know the unexpected does happen. So having some kind of padding is going to only set yourself up for success when those hard moments come. A lot of the foundation that financial planners talk about is emergency funds and having X amount of months of your budget ready to go. So in case something unexpected happens where you're unable to go to work or you lose your job or any of those unfortunate instances, you have some kind of savings to fall back on. And that's really something that we talk about a lot with our clients to make sure that before they're even investing, before you even get to that step, that you're prepared for the unexpected.
That's it. Having 3 months minimum of expenses is a really great thing to have. 6 months is better, but 3 months is a great start. One of the things I like to talk to people about is an acronym I call KISSES. Keep it simple, sustainable, easy, and supported. Remember we talked about this is not a 100-yard dash, it's a marathon. Therefore, just start slow. The whole point of anything is just to get started.
And really, when you're saving for that first 3-month budget, make yourself feel like it's attainable and make it just your non-discretionary budget, not your discretionary budget, the things that you absolutely would have to pay. And then look back on that tool that we talked about last week, that budget, to highlight what is necessary as a monthly payment that you couldn't skip if you came into that unfortunate situation. And I think you'll find that if you start small and keep it simple, you'll be able to attain it. Another really important thing that we talk about when paying yourself first, Dennis, is maximizing your employer retirement plan if this is something that that your employer offers.
One of the things that people don't often realize, when you put money into your employer's retirement plan and you're getting a match, that's free money. And if you put in 3% of your pay and they match 3% of your pay, that's 100% return on the money you put in. That's pretty darn good.
Absolutely. And you're leaving money on the table in your compensation package if you're not at least at a minimum matching what your employer does. So that's definitely a goal that you should have for yourself if you're not maximizing that. There's other important consideration to that too, is it's going to lower your tax consequences because that's pre-tax money. So you're putting it in and it's lowering your income taxes for that current year, and it defers it until you go to withdraw. So that's another piece to keep in mind, is you're paying less today for that same amount of money in the future.
Absolutely. Another couple things you can think about. We talked last week about discretionary spending and non-discretionary spending. So non-discretionary might be your housing, your food, your transportation would be great examples of that. Remember when you're making those decisions in the first place that you don't have to live in a mansion, you don't have to drive the brand new best car there is. Think about those things, because if you budget those things properly, you will be able to pay yourself first. So one of the things that realtors often talk about is your house is your biggest investment. Your house is not your biggest investment. an investment is something that you pay for, it grows, and it pays you dividends typically. So your house, you keep paying money into it. So one of the things you can do to make sure that you have discretionary money or money that you can use for your saving for your retirement accounts, savings for your emergency fund, or any of those types of things, is to make sure that your housing doesn't get out of control. You don't have to live in the biggest house in the neighborhood. In fact, most millionaires do not own the biggest house in their neighborhood.
Absolutely. It takes it back right to that budgeting topic with making sure that it fits within, the income and what you can sustain on a monthly basis or an annual basis, depending on how your pay structure's set up. And I think another tool, Dennis, that is very underrated and isn't talked about enough is the value of time, and that the longer the time horizon, the more powerful and the better off any savings tool can be for you. We talked about compound interest last time too, and time is just your best resource. It doesn't matter how much money you start with, the longer you have, the better off you are.
So your horizon is the amount of time you have to invest. So if you're 30 and you're going to retire at 65, you have a 35-year time horizon. If you're 40, you have a 25-year time horizon. The longer the time horizon, the more time your money has to work.
Great. So it definitely is important to pay yourself first. Should be something that you value and you make sure that your budget is aligned for. And if it doesn't, then today is definitely the time to get started. And as always, every week, we sit here and we tell you the importance of coming and getting with a financial planner to see how we can help you. This is just the surface of the things that we can offer as financial planners to help you dive into your current situation and take you where you want to go.
Right. And one last thing before we close out is I always want to remind people, don't try to keep up with the Joneses because the Joneses are broke.
And with that, see you next time.